Caitlin has brought a ton of new opportunity, a ton of new eyeballs, and more money to the sport. So instead of downplaying the magnitude of who she is and what she's brought, enjoy the ride and take advantage of the ride.
WNBA's hesitation reflects deeper issues within the league, from marketing challenges to tensions around how individual players are celebrated. As the debate continues, Clark's impact on the sport remains undeniable.
Man, first of all, she's unbelievable talent. You know, the things that she's doing is great in her own right. She's creating her own space, she's doing her own thing.
Her ability to draw record-breaking crowds and generate unprecedented levels of excitement has made her a transformative figure in women's basketball. Whether the WNBA chooses to fully embrace her influence or not, one thing is clear: Clark is here to stay, and her star power will continue to shape the league's future. The ongoing controversy has revealed both the opportunities and challenges facing women's basketball as it navigates a rapidly changing landscape. On one hand, Clark's rise represents a golden opportunity to attract new fans and elevate the sport to new heights.
Let's take a second right now to have a moment of silence for Washington Mystics owner Shelly Johnson, who suggested that the WNBA as a whole should have been on the cover of Time magazine instead of just Caitlin Clark, who graced the cover last week, which is probably some of the stupidest I've ever heard.
On the other, it has exposed underlying tensions within the basketball community, from questions of fairness and recognition to concerns about how the league handles its brightest stars. What happens next could have far-reaching implications, not just for Clark, but for the WNBA and women's basketball as a whole.
It's just the structure of the way media plays out race. I'm going to be very honest. I feel really bad because I've seen so many players of color that are equally as talented, and they never got the recognition that they should have. And I think right now, it is time for that to happen.
The significance of these NBA stars stepping up to support Caitlin Clark cannot be overstated. These aren't just any players. They're seasoned champions with respected voices in the basketball world. When they speak, both fans and industry insiders take notice. Their defense of Clark is bringing much-needed attention to the growing disconnect between her skyrocketing popularity and the criticism she's facing, shockingly, from within her own league. Matt Barnes emphasized this point by shedding light on the historical magnitude of Clark's achievements and what they represent for women's basketball as a whole. Clark is not just a standout player for her team, she is a symbol of potential, growth and transformation for the entire sport.
While the NBA's ratings continue to drop over 30% as they try to figure out who is going to fill the shoes of LeBron James, Kevin Durant, and Steph Curry, the WNBA has a golden goose sitting in their league and it's gotten better, but has done everything to kind of discredit the momentum and eyeballs she's brought to this game.
Alliance forming between NBA champions and a rising WNBA star like Clark is reshaping the narrative. It's no longer only about whether Clark deserves the Time Athlete of the Year award. Instead, these NBA players are forcing us to grapple with larger questions about how the WNBA promotes its stars and whether it is truly maximizing the excitement and energy Clark brings to the game. As Barnes and Trevor Ariza's comments continue to make waves, they're sparking broader discussions that extend well beyond Clark's on-court brilliance. Their statements are prompting everyone to rethink what it means to market women athletes effectively, and what the WNBA needs to do to embrace this unique opportunity. These NBA stars aren't just defending Clark, they're challenging the WNBA to reassess its approach to growing its audience and elevating its players. This is about the future of women's basketball, and the conversation is far from over. Adding to this dialogue is former NBA...
Over 31% of the Mystics' entire attendance was in 2 games the Caitlin team played against the Mystics. The Sparks, the Aces, the Mystics, the Dream, all moved games when Fever came in town because of the attention that Caitlin and her teammates have drawn that last season. Fever's jersey sales was up 1,000% and attendance was up 250%. And they had the largest attendance on average per year, just over 17,000 per game.
Star Jim Jackson, now a basketball analyst with a reputation for thought-provoking insights. Jackson's perspective takes the debate to a whole new level, exploring not just Clark's abilities, but the broader implications of her marketability. He delves into the complexities of star power in women's basketball, proposing that Clark is rewriting the rules of athlete branding and marketing. Jackson's analysis forces us to ask a critical question. What if the WNBA has been approaching its stars all wrong? Jackson's comparison of Clark's appeal to NBA superstar Steph Curry is especially telling. Both players have a magnetic ability to draw audiences, sell merchandise, and elevate their respective leagues. However, Jackson doesn't stop at the comparisons. He tackles difficult truths head-on, noting that while players like Aja Wilson may be the best in the
Let me say this, Caitlin Clark deserves all the flowers. I think she took a lot of and a lot of skeptics coming into the league, as she should. Like, she had to really prove herself. Missed out on the Olympic opportunity, and really had a lot of hard knocks early on in the season where she was getting beat up and her teammates were just watching her. I think the camaraderie in that locker room grew and that team started playing together and made the playoffs, made a nice little run, and had a solid season. So Caitlin is someone who has, if you look at it, done everything you're supposed to do and has been criticized along every step of the way. Again, she's damned if she does, and she's damned if she doesn't.
WNBA, Clark's marketability far surpasses theirs. For Jackson, it's not about downplaying Wilson's talent. It's about recognizing that Clark's crossover appeal, charisma, and ability to create excitement make her an invaluable asset. Her jerseys, her gear, they all sell out, signaling her unparalleled influence. Jackson's words are a wake-up call for the WNBA, which he argues is...
I think they're doing an amazing job with, like you said, telling the story. And the players are actually doing their thing when they get there,
yes,
too. You know, like you mentioned, these couple of players. But Caitlin being the one that we're speaking about right now, she is kicking everybody's ass,
sitting
really
on an untapped gold mine. He believes the league is missing out on a critical chance to capitalize on Clark's rising stardom.
If we had to compare from what we've seen from the NBA, it would, in her effect, probably something similar to Larry Bird.
Jackson's analysis is sparking conversations that are long overdue, challenging the league to rethink its strategies and highlighting its struggles to fully embrace the opportunities that players like Clark bring to the table. What's even more striking is the glaring silence from the WNBA itself. While NBA veterans like Barnes, Ariza, and Jackson have been vocal in their support for Clark, the league she represents has been conspicuously quiet. Why aren't WNBA leaders celebrating Clark's achievements and the excitement she's bringing to women's basketball? This lack of vocal support feels like a missed opportunity. And
when you see the people say it's not just her, there's other players, and again, we're not distracted. We understand the depth of talent in that league, but when you also see the numbers that back up the fact that Caitlin has a huge effect. Caitlin Clark is responsible for nearly 27% of the WNBA's league-wide activity in 2024, including attendance. 1 in 6 tickets sold at the WNBA arena attributed to Caitlin Clark. TV viewership was up 30%. TV viewership was up 300% with Caitlin Clark.
A serious misstep. Imagine a league where one of its brightest stars is left to fend off criticism while outsiders rush to her defense. That's the unsettling reality Caitlin Clark faces today. The WNBA's silence on her Time Athlete of the Year award speaks volumes. In contrast, Barnes and Ariza, with no direct ties to women's basketball, are publicly calling her a game changer and a
congratulations.
Congratulations.
You know, they continue to push the game to the next level, you know, and you look at where the NBA was and now where the NBA is at now. And although everyone doesn't agree with the style of play, these guys have taken it to the next level as far as the business of basketball.
Right.
And I think that's what Caitlin will affect, is the business of women's basketball, man. So we wish them the best. Definitely excited to see these upcoming seasons and these women continue to do their thing.
Generational talent. Their praise highlights not just Clark's exceptional skill, but also the potential she holds to transform the sport. This situation raises uncomfortable questions. Why is the WNBA failing to support its own players in moments like these? Why is it that former NBA stars seem more eager to amplify Clark's achievements than her own league? These questions are sparking debates that go far beyond Caitlin Clark. They're forcing everyone to take a hard look at how women's basketball is marketed, celebrated, and supported. This story isn't just about one player. It's about the future of the game and the conversations it desperately needs to have.
Congratulations to Caitlin Clark for being named Time Athlete of the Year. I get why people are so upset. I'm a basketball player and a basketball fan. There's a lot of dynamics and a lot of layers to this thing when it deals with Caitlin Clark. But I will say that this is just my opinion. It's certain people, I don't care if you're black, white, Spanish, from Europe, it doesn't matter, that have it, that draw something, okay? And Caitlin is one of the people. Keep in mind, this is a business. When Nike signs a athlete, okay, they want to get an ROI, return on their investment. How do they do that? Because that athlete resonates. You understand that Caitlin Clark, her jerseys, her apparel, if she has an apparel deal, her shoes will sell.
Thinking they might just be playing it cautious. But let's face it, the WNBA knows how to market its rookies when it truly wants to. Remember the hype surrounding Brittany Griner? Or the massive fanfare for Diana Taurasi? The league has a proven track record of rolling out the red carpet for its stars. Caitlin Clark is no exception when it comes to potential. She's bringing unparalleled attention to women's basketball.
It's the reason why Steph Curry, who may not be the best player, okay, in the NBA, but he draws differently. He draws different. He can be marketed differently than other players. And some players who may be considered better, maybe a Kevin Durant. But the market, to market Kevin Durant is a lot different than marketing Steph Curry. People resonate with Steph Curry a lot more than a KD. Now, that may be KD's personality, okay? He doesn't really care. I'm just using KD.
She's packing arenas, drawing massive crowds, and making people care about the sport in ways we haven't seen in years. Jim Jackson wasn't exaggerating when he compared Clark's marketability to Steph Curry's. He called it as it is, and the data backs him up. Clark's jerseys are selling out faster than they can be stocked, and TV ratings skyrocket whenever she's on the court. It's undeniable. Clark is a goldmine for the WNBA. Yet, for reasons that baffle both fans and analysts, the league seems reluctant to tap into her potential fully. Caitlin Clark has just been named Time Magazine's Athlete of the Year, a milestone that should have been a moment of celebration for women's basketball. Instead, it has ignited a firestorm of criticism.
Caitlin may not be, A'ja Wilson is the best player in the WNBA, but Caitlin is more marketable because people tend to resonate. I don't care, black, white, whatever it may be. And now there is a race component to it. It always will be in some regards, okay? But the player itself, the person, what she was able to do, how she resonated, how she drew eyes to the TV. I don't agree with the Mystics owner saying that the whole WNBA should have been named up, because that's not true. The whole WNBA benefited this year from the viewership increase.
From unexpected quarters. What's even more surprising is who has stepped forward to defend her. It's not who anyone might have anticipated. While some NBA champions are vocally backing Clark, the WNBA's apparent
there's some other players that get deals, men and women, okay, that have signature shoes that, despite how good they are as a player, great as they are as a player, they don't move product because it doesn't resonate. It doesn't translate.
Silence on the matter has left fans with more questions than answers. To fully understand the situation, it's essential to examine the context before diving into the commentary. From some of the most influential voices in basketball, Clark's recognition by Time magazine was widely seen as a pivotal moment for women's sports, a nod to her extraordinary talent and the unparalleled attention she's brought to the game. However, it didn't take long for dissenting voices to emerge. One of the most notable came from within the WNBA itself, adding an unexpected twist to the narrative. Sheila Johnson, co-owner of the Washington Mystics and a powerhouse in the business.
What translates is when Caitlin Clark came into the league and 30,000 jerseys were already ordered, that the Indiana Fever, the season tickets were already sold out. When you go on the road to the Mystics and they have to change the venue in which it's going to be played to play, you know, where the Wizards play, okay, on a couple of occasions. It's only certain people that do that. Whether you like Caitlin or not, or you're interested. If you're a ball player, there's certain aspects you got to love about Caitlin's game.
Controversy during a recent CNN interview. Her comments caught many off guard, as she argued that the entire WNBA, rather than Clark alone, deserved recognition. When you just keep singling out one player, it creates hard feelings, she remarked, seemingly downplaying the Iowa Star's influence. Johnson's words didn't stop there. They ventured into a more sensitive territory, addressing the issue of race in sports recognition. She voiced concerns about players of color, who she believes are equally deserving but often overlooked. "I feel really bad," Johnson stated, sparking a debate that quickly divided opinions among fans and analysts alike. While Johnson's perspective opened up an important conversation about equity in sports, the statistics paint a compelling picture.
Purely from a basketball perspective and what she brought to the WNBA, along with Angel Reese and the other players who, I think in the last 3 to 4 or 5 years, from a marketing perspective, have really added so much value to where they're going, hence they signed a new TV deal.
Of Clark's impact. Her games have been smashing attendance records, and the buzz around her name has significantly boosted viewership for women's basketball. It's hard to ignore the positive ripple effects she has created, drawing more eyes to the sport and inspiring a new generation of fans. Yet, this hasn't silenced her critics, and that's where unexpected allies have entered the fray. 2 NBA champions, Matt Barnes and Trevor Ariza, have stepped up to defend Clark in ways that have sent shockwaves through the basketball community. Their perspectives add a new layer to the unfolding drama, as they highlight the broader implications of Clark's rise and the WNBA's response, or lack thereof. Matt Barnes, a former NBA champion, didn't hold back during a recent episode of his podcast. He shared his unfiltered thoughts about Caitlin Clark and the WNBA, addressing not just the criticism directed at her, but also the league's handling of her stardom. According to Barnes, the WNBA has a golden goose in Clark, yet instead of capitalizing on her meteoric rise, the league has, in his words, done everything to kind of discredit the momentum and eyeballs she has brought to this game. Barnes's blunt assessment was a wake-up call, emphasizing what he sees as a missed opportunity for the league to elevate women's basketball to new heights. Trevor Ariza, another NBA champion, echoed Barnes's sentiments, offering his own perspective on Clark's impact. Ariza went as far.
The idea of some players being jealous, yes, that probably exists.
Okay.
To me, yeah, jealous, sure. I mean, would you be jealous of somebody that got $28 million a shoe deal or whatever the deal is before you step foot in the pros?
To compare Clark to iconic players like Larry Bird, noting that her influence goes beyond her incredible skills on the court. It's about her ability to captivate audiences and bring new fans to the sport, he explained, highlighting her unique role in expanding the reach of women's basketball. For Ariza, Clark isn't just a phenomenal athlete. She's a cultural force capable of reshaping the game's narrative. The stark contrast between the enthusiastic endorsements from these NBA veterans and the WNBA's muted response has sparked heated discussions across social media and beyond. Fans are questioning why the league hasn't embraced Clark's star power more openly, especially given the undeniable boost she's provided to its visibility. Some argue that this isn't just about Caitlin Clark, it's about the WNBA's future as a whole. The league is standing on the edge of an opportunity to ride this wave of excitement, expand its audience, and secure bigger TV deals that could redefine its place in professional sports. But instead of steering the narrative, they're letting others dictate it. That silence sends the wrong message, not only to Clark, but to every young, rising star watching from the sidelines. What does it say to future players, sponsors, and fans when the league hesitates to celebrate one of its brightest talents? The WNBA is playing a dangerous game of inaction, risking alienation not just of Clark, but of an entire generation of athletes and supporters. What's their end game? Are they hoping this will quietly fade away? Or are they simply missing a once-in-a-lifetime?
She's doing rating-wise for the WNBA what Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Steph Curry have been doing for the NBA.
Chance to elevate the league to new heights. Every second counts in moments like this, and the clock is ticking. Caitlin, Clark's transition from college superstar to WNBA phenom has been anything but easy. Winning Time Athlete of the Year should have been a crowning moment for her and women's basketball as a whole, but instead, it's been overshadowed by unexpected criticism from within her own league. The plot twist here is that NBA champions are stepping in to back her, while the WNBA remains noticeably silent. This glaring disparity isn't just about one player or one award. It's about how athletes are valued, celebrated, and supported. The WNBA has a golden opportunity at hand. Clark's ability to draw new fans, boost viewership, and reignite passion for the sport is a gift the league should be embracing. It's not about choosing Clark over other players. It's about realizing that lifting one player up can create a ripple effect that benefits the entire league. When one player shines, the whole league stands to sparkle. The WNBA has to act now. The opportunity to transform not only Clark's narrative but the trajectory of the entire league is theirs to seize. Supporting players like Clark doesn't just grow individual careers, it solidifies the league's future. Whether they rise to the occasion or continue to hesitate, one thing is for sure. The ball is in their court, and the world is watching. What do you think? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss out. Click the next video on the screen, and we'll see you there.